Welcome. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Let me see. My audio is on the mic. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. How's everybody doing? Damn, everybody's live right now. Everybody's live. Oh my goodness. I see it. It sounds like everybody's like talking about this. It's going to be telling you, man, this is Sean, BJ, everybody's live. Everybody's live. Y'all go support all the channels. Everybody deserves to be supported. Let me just say that much. But shout out to you guys for coming over here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome, everybody. Please hit that like button. Where's everybody at? Oh, thank you, Jen. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Yeah, but right now, I will figure it as much that everybody would be live because I think that, first of all, I had never heard anybody with like 100 victims like this. Like this is just unheard of as it pertains to Diddy and whatnot. And there's more information coming, you guys. Like, this is just crazy. It is what it is. It's crazy, guys. It really is. Now, let me show you guys where we're at right now. Mr. Buzbee sounds like he's going to be live on IG. There might be also a Twitter stream as well that might be running. So we're going to get that going too, just in case, you guys. This is like crazy. We are all waiting for this man to start the press conference. Because let me tell you, how is it? There's no way that it's just 100. Like, it's 100 alleged victims, and you mean to tell me that this man hadn't been caught before? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Shout out to everybody coming through. Belen, thank you so much for, I think you upgraded your membership. Shout out to you, love. Thank you. But let me shout out the people, since we haven't really started. We're still waiting on this press conference. I'm gonna make sure I refresh this page because it's a must, and I have my notifications set on all. Welcome, everybody. 100 victims, you guys. 100 victims. And there's some other stuff popping too that we got to talk about at some point, but welcome, everybody. You said, hold up. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thank you guys for hitting that like button, please. And thank you. Hold up. Let me see. I got more information coming through. You ain't never lie about that. There's more information coming. Thank you, James. Welcome. Hey, Kenya, how you doing, love? Mia Mo, Steeler, how are you, love? How do all these... That's the question of the hour. Is how is it that people just ignore and pretend and act like I have a problem with that. I really do. How do we just going to ignore and pretend that this didn't happen? I just don't get it. You said, what about all the people behind him that participated and helped with the drugs and everything? Yeah, what about them? Right? Deanna, what about them? Absolutely. Hey, Tinkle Tits, you said, Rabbit. Hey, Rabbit, really helps me to know, and with a notification when you post your next live with the night before, I can see that. Oh, well, thank you, real deal. I will try. It's just, y'all know that with Baby Bunny, my schedule is so crazy, and I can't always promise that I'm always like gonna be live at a certain time, but I will do my best. Like yesterday, I knew I was going to be live around this time. I said, we got to make it work. It's all about the lifestyle. The billionaires suck the money to the top, and they exploit, and lawyers cover for them and others. Apps. I agree with you, Infinite Films. I couldn't have said it better. All of them. So everybody is live right now because we all want to know. We all patiently, we're sitting right here just waiting for this press conference. Will do, Chico. Let me check. Hold up. Shout out to everybody, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. Get the fuck out of here. Oh my God. Did we not? Some of you guys said this yesterday. Let me show you what Chico just shared with me. P. Diddy investigators search UK for more victims of this sex trafficking thing. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm like, wow. They're searching for more folks on the sex trafficking situation. You did. You send me the article? Okay, I'll check it out. Sorry, guys. I have been so busy. I might have looked at it, but not read it all the way. That's what people are saying. That's what people are saying. So for those that are coming through, Law and Crime did a piece yesterday, I guess, of investigators are searching in the UK for more Diddy victims. Do you guys remember when Don Richard said on her lawsuit that Diddy had an assistant? Diddy had an assistant. They ran a train on her. Okay. She was partying. They ran a train on her. And then the next morning, Don doesn't see the assistant on the plane. They're going back to the States. Don is asking Diddy, "Hey, where's the assistant? Where's girl?" And he's like, basically, "Fuck her, like fuck that hoe." That's what basically he said in this lawsuit. This just keeps blowing up and blowing up and blowing up. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I just don't know. I, this is not good. This is not good. I don't understand. Like, Diddy has no chance whatsoever. Like, how do you come out of this? And the people behind him, guys. Absolutely, I agree. It's going to get worse. You said detectives working on the Diddy case have reportedly flown to the UK. Jill, thank you for gifting a membership. Okay, hold up. Kraken, I completely missed your comment. I'm sorry. Thank you for being a member for 9 months. Kraken says, in my opinion, feds have indictments stacked strategically. So no matter the outcome of the first trial, he will never be released. The civil suits now aid this. Absolutely. Kraken, thank you for supporting my channel for 9 months. You are amazing. Thank you. Thank you. And Jill, thank you for gifting, y'all. Thank you, Jill. If you got a gift from Jill, please put a heart in the chat as a thank you. Thank you, love. Thank you. I guess that they're searching for victims, or they found victims. Hold up, y'all. I gotta sneeze. 1 second. Whew. Oh my god. That came randomly. Oh my god. You send me more? Oh, Lord have mercy. Welcome, Tammy. Shout out to beautiful people from my beautiful people from Canada. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, the NDAs. I heard about this one too. Thank you, Chico. The NDAs and the details revealing in the court filings. Listen, an NDA doesn't cover you from crimes, you guys. Stop thinking that these NDAs are like going to cover you. They don't, and they shouldn't. Absolutely. We will never know who was on those tapes. It will just be like Epstein's list. He will probably be Epstein before trial. Emerald, you're not the only one who has said that. We were talking about this. We said this is weird. Like, people don't want to be discovered. Of course, they're gonna like, yeah, they're not gonna speak out. They just won't. Just won't. I mean, I don't know how much Diddy's gonna say, and what if something happens to him in jail? That's the other thing. That's international at this point. Like, I want to know, what did he fly people out there without their consent? Okay. Did he fly people out to different countries without their consent? That is like, it's just huge. Hurry up, Buzbee. We're waiting. Are y'all waiting for it? Because I'm waiting. We are all waiting. Thank you, Karen Lee. Shout out to you. Thank you, Karen Lee. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to us. We're getting there. We're getting there. I hate to celebrate beforehand because you just never really know. You know what I'm saying? Because trolls will sub and then unsub, and they like to play with your heart like that. Welcome, everybody. I think, in my opinion, there has to be more than 100, and it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, all the people that have been covering up for Diddy should also be indicted, like the lady Christina. What about Young Miami? What does Young Miami have to do with this? Is she going to be indicted too? Because I feel like, I don't know why, but I foresee anybody that was dating him or dealing with Diddy could very well be indicted. For all we know, could very well be indicted. A good chance that everyone that was messing with Diddy at that time could very well be indicted. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Oh, man. Here we go. Let me know if you hear it. Drop something in the chat. Let me know y'all hear it, please and thank you. Here we go. You hear it? Thank you. Let's go. Fair use. Yes. Sounds good? All right. Let me remove myself, y'all. Let me remove myself. Perfect. I hope their mic is good. I hope he speaks to the mic.
Luckily, the camera's been getting lighter as I've gotten older.
Ooh-wee. Let's go. They got the hotline number up and everything. Somebody call Carisha. She might be. I'm saying, Kenya, they're gonna call people up. It wouldn't surprise me if she had something to do with some of this stuff, allegedly, and in my opinion. Period. Kraken, tell them this is groundbreaking. Now go get all the Scientologists too, all the people, the trafficking of the children. Let's go. It's a little low. Well, they haven't spoken yet, so let's give them a chance to speak. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Buzbee. I'm a lawyer here in Houston. I'm licensed in Texas and in New York. And I'll introduce other members of our team as they speak. As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enable this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us.
What?
With people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We've had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When you talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old.
Oh my
We have
God.
an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
Oh my God.
The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that revive such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they call a puppy party,
Oh my
all-white
God.
party. Although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listening to their tape, or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reports, reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer. Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. That day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are.
Oh my God.
And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing.
Yes.
And I'm talking about the people that participated,
Yes.
encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are.
Oh.
I call them the facilitators of foul play.
Yes.
willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we as collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul, the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers. The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlog untested rape kits. Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control, the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing? All of this creates an environment that enables abusers to continue abusing them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline. I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of calls we've received.
Thank you, Tony. Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of Baby Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina. To build off of what you just so well said, it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days is really unprecedented in my career, at least. We represent thousands of survivors of abuse. And never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward where we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100 plus cases to prove them up, to validate what has happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so like Tony said, we've set this up, 1-800-200-7474. I have a team of people standing by literally. If you know that this happened to someone and you have information about it, please contact us. If this happened to you, come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you. And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this, again, is unprecedented. over 30 plus years of the same sort of events happening, people thrust into the circle reportedly, and horrible things happening to them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail and a judge kept him in jail, they tell me directly, this validates my feelings. For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing at the time? What did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment at these people that I was trying to trust? Well, we know now it was not your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that operated for 30 plus years, taking advantage of their wealth and the power that they held within the music industry. So again, thank you to every single person that has come forward and contacted our office over the past 10 days. If you or someone you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please contact us at the number behind me and we will help you. Thank you.
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly internationally, that we have reputable people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and let her visit with you a few moments about these types of cases.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Q Olivia Rivers. I am just served my 6th year as the board chair for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you for being here as we address these heinous crimes. Sexual assault is not just a crime of violence against the body. It's an assault on the very essence of human dignity and safety. It shatters lives, it destroys confidence, and all too often, it leaves survivors feeling like they are voiceless, isolated, and vulnerable. The reality for many survivors is that coming forward to report their assault is one of the most difficult and daunting tasks that they will ever have to do. And for some, it may take days, months, or even years to speak up if they ever do. The reasons for this have been mentioned, but include the fear of being disbelieved, being blamed or judged, and of course, retaliation. The trauma of the assault itself being compounded by the trauma of the criminal justice process, where survivors must relive their experience in order to seek justice. And these feelings and fears are further exacerbated when the allegations are against prominent figures in the entertainment industry or Hollywood. Cases involving powerful figures often attract significant media attention, which can deter victims from coming forward due to fear of public exposure or scrutiny. The intense focus on these high-profile cases can make survivors feel that their personal lives are being put under a microscope, causing further emotional distress. These allegations mentioned here today, as reported, reflect deeply troubling claims that deserve thorough investigation, and no individual, regardless of their stature, is above the law or public accountability. Sadly, the statistics paint a very disturbing picture. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. In the US alone, there are approximately 463,000 victims of rape or sexual assault every year, and these numbers barely scratch the surface, as sexual violence remains one of the most underreported crimes. But the numbers that follow tell an even more troubling story. Only about 23% of sexual assaults are reported to law enforcement. Of those, just 5% lead to an arrest, and even fewer, less than 1% of reported cases, ever result in a conviction, which is a devastating gap between the crime and the justice that survivors deserve. I want to briefly focus on our state here in Texas. According to the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, 6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some form of violence. That's every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted, meaning during the course of this press conference, around 60 individuals will forever be changed by this violence. And those are just a few of the victims. Obviously, this is unacceptable. We cannot allow this cycle of silence and inaction to continue. We have to create an environment where survivors feel empowered to come forward, where they are met with empathy and respect and support, not skepticism and blame. We have to ensure that our legal system is equipped to handle these cases with the seriousness they deserve, and that survivors have access to the resources that they need beyond the legal courtroom. We have to address the root causes of this epidemic: prevention, awareness, and fostering environments where respect, consent, and safety are non-negotiable values. Additionally, support for survivors has to be holistic. They have to have access to counseling, medical services, legal advocacy, and of course, community support, regardless of whether they choose to report or not. To every survivor who has come forward, your bravery is an inspiration. To those who are still grappling with their decision, know that you are not alone and that your voice matters. Your story matters. We see you, we believe you, and we are committed to fighting for a future where sexual violence is no longer tolerated and where justice is not the exception, but the standard. Thank you.
I want to visit with you real quickly before we close here about some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name. You probably know that depending on the age of the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases, under Jane Doe or John Doe. Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few, just kind of give you a sense of the kind of cases and the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting that we are trying to corroborate, vet, and these are the ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence on. One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Now, let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records.
Oh my God.
Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal. Another instance, another minor told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him. Another incident, an individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged, and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual, minor, was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her. Another individual, 26 at the time of the occurrence, was picked up by, allegedly, by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV, and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she then went to the hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes. Another instance, an individual, this time not a minor, attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus were torn and sore. And I could go on. I mean, literally, you're sensing a theme here. It's the same theme, and it all involves some sort of drug. One instance, an individual who was 20 years old at the time was asked to attend, just saw her on the street, asked to attend a party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, was so messed up, went to the hospital where they found cocaine and this horse tranquilizer in her blood system. I'm going to give you a quote from a very young man who told us over the phone about his experience and all the things that happened to him. He says allegedly at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his friends in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me." And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing this, asking you to support this effort, to encourage witnesses and victims to come forward and bring your evidence so we can continue to break down this wall of silence and we can continue to have these stories heard. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a national dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere else. This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created a mass of individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you're one of those individuals, we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. If you are someone who witnessed any of these events, we ask you to reach out. Your name can remain confidential. With that, I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two, but if you have a question, I'll be pleased to try to answer it.
How many minors are making accusations in total, and are the feds aware of the allegations of minors in the case?
I don't know what the feds are aware of, okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120.
25 minors.
I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims because I think that's important. My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI because I think they have some very important things to say.
And were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians, or were any of them kids of employees or anything like that?
All seeking either TV or some sort of music career with promises of, we're going to make you a star. Instead, basically did things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment industry ever again. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your attention. We're going to go now. Thank you.
Do you anticipate any Houston cases?
Any filed here? There's a few plaintiffs here, but I don't anticipate filing them here. Probably in New York City.
Okay. That's it. All right. Let's do a little like debrief, okay? Everybody, shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me just do some shout outs and then that way I can kind of collect my thoughts, all right? Because this is just that was way too much. Let me shout out Wim, thank you for supporting my channel for 22 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for your continued support. Jill, thank you for gifting memberships. And Fabulous Fab, both of you guys, thank you for gifting memberships. If you guys got memberships from any of these beautiful people, please put a heart in the chat. Thank you, Jill and Fabulous Fab, for supporting my channel this long. All right, let's do a little recap. What I'm understanding is that Tony Buzbee, the attorney that runs this law firm, is put up a hotline, and in the last 10 days, they received over 3,000 calls regarding Diddy and the charges that have come about this. Okay, from the 3,000 calls, they are currently representing 120 cases, victims, people that have come forward. From those 120, there are 25 people that were minors at the time of the incidents. The youngest one being 9 years old, and I believe I heard the age of 14. Okay. So, from what we were able to pull from that is that they were promised as minors. They tried out, they went out there. Some of them were R'd by Diddy, and there are other associates and corporations that are involved in this situation, from the pharmaceutical, from the hotels, and others that he has not put out there that we will be finding out here pretty soon. Hence, why these industry monsters, demons, whatever the hell y'all want to call them, are very selectively quiet. Okay? That's really what the gist of this is. 3,000 people called the hotline, and they had to wean through all of those to make sure that they weren't, because that's what you have to do. You have to kind of weigh in the information and figure it out. 25 of the 120 people are minors. Right, call me Vicky. And I'm having a hard time. This is what, and I promise y'all I'll shut y'all here in a minute. But if it's 3,000 people that have a tip or are giving information or were victims themselves and only 120 were looked at, then those other people, what happened to them? That's what I want to know. This is, it's just, I can't even think. And there was something that the lady said when she was talking about how people don't believe people, especially fans and the celebrity. I completely get that and understood what she was saying when she said that. But you guys have to understand something. Look at all these rape logs. They are backed up for years and years and years and years. That even when you do report something, it gets tossed, ignored, thrown away, dismissed. This is deep. If it involves corporations, this isn't just even SA. This could be people were not necessarily paid wages because there's labor trafficking that happens. And that's what a lot of these lawsuits say, that they weren't paid. This man employed people. When Stevie J. Gross said this man employed people, I believe him. I believe that he employed people. I believe that there's a lot more darker entities behind this. I believe it. He was there paying people off because that's what he does. Okay? And if it wasn't him directly, it was his associates. And literally, we need some of those names. We need some of those corporations, because I'm telling you, whether it's banks, hotels, grocery stores, whatever pharmacy, whatever it was, those people need to be, all of that needs to be shut the way the fuck down all the way. Okay? All the way. We need names. We need names. They need to be dropped. I'm waiting. And let me their youngest victim is 9 years old. 9 years old. Y'all, I got a 9-year-old. Do you have a 9-year-old? I got a 9-year-old. And he plays video games, doesn't think of this stuff. Or, this isn't life. Can you imagine something like this happening to a 9-year-old? I can't even imagine. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Like, it's so hard not to do some level of countertransference when you're hearing these stories and you're like, damn, I have a 9-year-old. You imagine having to talk to your son or daughter about what happened to them and trying to process that with them and for them? I have a 9-year-old. We gotta, like, we're not, these laws aren't protecting our kids. They're not. We got so much shit to worry about. School shootings, different things. And then you got this shit. And this man got away with this shit for how many fucking years? And y'all, we're surprised. It's a terrifying thought. Okay? First of all, it's a terrifying thought. It's scary. It's scary as hell. I'm sorry, y'all. Thank you, Intergalactic. I'm sorry. I appreciate you. Thank you for being a member for 10 months. And Didi, thank you for gifting again. If you guys got any memberships, please put a heart in the chat. Sorry, y'all. I'm just thinking in my mind, you guys, like, I cannot fathom. I can't think of it. They need to look at all these motherfuckers, all of them, law enforcement, those that in the hospitals, those that didn't report, those that reported, everybody. No stones should left unturned. You guys, the system is so broken that for many years we've willfully looked away from this. All of them. Look at them all. Look at them all. No child should go through something like this and then have to be quiet about it and then live through this and then figure out later on in life in your 20s or your 30s, are they going to believe me? Are they going to believe me? Does my voice matter? No, nobody. Nobody should go through some shit like this. Nobody. I'm speechless, y'all. I don't know what else to say. I do wonder about 3,000 calls, or it sounds like it was over 3,000. If I'm understanding this from what I've heard, what tips were given, what information was provided. What about the other people? Did everybody go to the police? Was there any police reports that came out of this? Were people ignored? I don't know, man. I'll never get over this shit. I don't get it. Thank you, Don. I'm so sorry. Don says I'm 58 and they still don't believe me. But it's like our kids, you guys. Our kids are what we need to protect. Okay? In every decade, that's always the theme. But we still haven't gotten it. We still haven't gotten it. I don't know what to say, man. I'm so disappointed. And those that willfully looked away and ignored it, and I'm so glad that the attorney said that, because there were many that looked away and ignored it. There were many that looked away and ignored it for the benefit of their own career. You put a name in the chat. You tell me who those people are that willfully looked away. Right now, you got Kevin Hart, who is, getting himself away from the Diddy news. Ashton Kutcher, slowly getting away, not talking about them. You can't forget those Diddy parties. Young Jock has talked about it. A lot of people have talked about these Diddy parties. Stevie J was bailed out of jail for non-payment on child support. Guess who helped him with that bail? Diddy did. These people helped each other, and therefore this is why they cover for each other. And I'm done. Because you know what? It's not okay. While us regular folks over here, we don't do that. Ellen DeGeneres, another one. We don't do that. We don't cover for nobody. For nobody. We don't. These people couldn't give a shit. And what about people that have been killed through this that we have yet to know? Yeah, what about these people right here? Put a name in the chat. All these people right here. All of them. Thank you. Thank you for putting everybody. Come on, Beyonce. Come on, Jay-Z. Come on, LeBron James. All of them. I don't give a shit if they had a bop and I liked it and I danced to it. All of them. People suffered over this. Kids, 25 children at the time were minors, suffered over this. While we were all getting down to certain songs that they sang. Now we know. Now we know better. All of them. All of them. Corporations, banks, hotels, those that concealed, thank you, those that concealed names, Quincy Jones, Tommy Mottola, Benny Medina, TriStar, who else? Clive Davis with his, ass over there that will likely never be convicted. Russell and thank you, Russell Simmons. All these people knew. Arista Records, thank you. Charlie Sheen, all of them. They all knew. They all knew. The police, the LAPD, the New York police, all of them. Every person. All the politicians. But we willfully look away, you guys. Meek Mills, thank you. All of them. They knew. They all knew. We have to. This is bigger, man. I'm telling you, man, there's a huge, this is going to turn Hollywood upside down. It really is. All of them are going to be in trouble. All of them. All of them. Thank you for this. Thank you for this name right here. Thank you for this name. All of them. The Carters, all of them. Scientology, all of them. We're done. This is it. You guys, I'll be live later on tonight because I want to review some of this again and process this a little bit more because this took me out. When they said no, I expected the minors. I just didn't. I don't know, man. There's just the ages and putting this out there. I can't, you guys. This is going to be huge and I'm here for it. It's time. It's time. It's time. These people need to lose it. Yeah, they do. Thank you for the 1999. You said that there's no excuse for any of this behavior to have happened to at any age. What you wear, the looks you give, or how you talk, those are not excuses to do this to people. If you justify the behavior, you are just as guilty. Miss Faye, thank you. I'm so tired of this narrative. She deserved it. She was wearing a short skirt. I'm so tired of this behavior. She looked like she wanted it. I'm so tired of this behavior. You look like this, therefore you deserved it. You know how many times that was for especially me growing up and a lot of us women growing up? That we couldn't wear certain things because I had to be mindful of your perverted mind, of your perverted ways. This is crazy, man. Even with my own, it's crazy. You're right. It's sick. It's sick. Couldn't walk down the street. You can't wear this. Oh, your shirt is too much of this and that and the other. It's sick. Because you couldn't handle your urges. You couldn't handle yourself. Everybody hears that fault. Yeah. I'm tired of it. Tired of it. They are vulnerable. Thank you. Our boys are vulnerable too. That's what scares me too. When I heard 9-year-olds and bad boy records, that shit scared me. It scared me. Thank you for sharing this, Squids. Thank you. Thank you for saying this. No one asked for it. Nope. Doesn't work that way. We're going to still be calling this out because that's what we need to do. All right. Yes. Or you shouldn't have been there. Thank you for saying this. That's another one. Do you know how often I heard that too in my life? You shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have worn that. You sound like you wanted it. You shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have done that. Okay. Yes, because I didn't realize that growing up, I was going to be growing up with a target, or that some of us in this chat would be having targets on our back because of that. Fuck that. Fuck that. I don't care if this shit gets demonetized. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Yeah, I need a break from this. Let me tell you something. We just need to figure this out. That's all. We need to figure it out. We need to get louder. We need to hold these people accountable. All of them. All of them. Okay? I'm going to be live later. I need to step away from this because this is really getting to me, and I could feel it that it's getting to me. So I need to step away. But shout out to you guys. I want to thank everybody here for supporting my channel. I will see you guys later on. We could process this a little bit more and take some time with it because it's too much. It's too much. I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye guys. Bye-bye.